Gypsy, you're wrong. Put your hands together for Coco.
Man with no voice. Well, look at driving down on the highway, singing a nice old Kitchener song. Just so I turn around, a police with a motorbike flag me down. Since the election and the padding, are really easy to get vexed. The man say how he is Constable Rex and how I doing 12 miles in excess. As a law-abiding citizen, I take my ticket and went and pay. Same day, the very same day. The reason why I'm telling you my business is that I want you to see clearly that they have a love for me and another one for Chiton and Gypsy. But the law should be for everybody. It is plain to see UNC hijacked the democracy. And I'm blaming Isaac Hayatali, cause at 83, I say he who harbored padding at the EBC. Still, Gypsy, you're wrong. Why is you sign the form for the PN?
I want to officially say a pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Democracy. Hey!
And how are we doing this afternoon?
You sign a false declaration.
Tuesday, the 22nd day of July, 2020.
You steal it.
5.
The nation too. So don't treat black.
Another wonderful, wonderful day in the spice aisle.
I
A little rain earlier on, but it's
joy. You're just
right.
a black boy. If black people should get together, for carnival blood might flow like water. You're antagonizing the black man, but we never lost our revolution.
We are going to get straight into conversations for today. This one there coming down from Crow. And so we're going to jump into our conversation very early this afternoon. I want to welcome each and every one of you guys to another class in session program with yours truly, Royalty James. If I may, just run through quickly the events that are carried to be happening. You guys, don't forget, next week, Thursday, the After Work Lime is going to be happening at the NNP headquarters. So come out in your numbers to be part of this. Yes, you know it's fun and laughter, meeting persons that you might be social media friends with or whomever. So come out and be a part of this one. Yes, also, we have the Sugar Palace Soca Monarch that will be happening out there in Marlinge come Saturday the 26th. Go out there and be a part of this one. I would be your host for this one. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be another wonderful, wonderful event. So we're asking each and every one of you guys to come out. To the persons in St. Mark's, yes, a special invitation is given to you guys to be at the Victoria Hard Court tomorrow, just about 5:30 in the afternoon. The National Lotteries Authority will be making a handover to the St. Mark's Ulster Steel Orchestra after they would have recently started and made attempts to raise funds and other things to, get the band together. Yes, they have been given, they will be given a few items. Members of the general public, you guys are invited to the ceremony to witness the birth of a new era of steel pan music in Grenada. Yes, I again would be your host for this one. So I guess you'll give me some remedy and thing for that voice, because that voice will be going for the next few days. Yeah, that voice will definitely be going for the next few days. But however, by God's grace, I'm going to get through it. I'll be drinking a lot of water, staying, ensure that I stay hydrated. Yes, and it's going to be all good. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start this evening by clariantly sending out a message, a special message that was made public by the New National Party today. And we just wanted to make this one public. So, it speaks to a time of mourn, a time to lead. The nation mourns, another life has been taken away by violence. An act that once shocked our conscience now threatens to become disturbingly familiar. We emphasize and extend our deepest sympathies to the individuals and families affected by the act of violence. Let us be unequivocally, this is not normal. Yes, let us be unequivocal, this is not normal. Yes, and it must be allowed, it must not be allowed or never be allowed to become normal. When one of us is harmed, we are affected. Yes, we are all affected. Every life lost to violence is a wound to a nation, a wound to our sense of safety, to our trust in another, and our collective peace of mind. But we are not powerless, and we are not alone. A truly safe society is not built on fear, but on sense of belonging. It is one where every child walking home from school, every parent, every elder, every neighbor feels protected, seen and valued. We define ourselves as a nation where safety is not an expectation, but a right. We must resist the temptation to become numb. We must not accept tragedy as a routine occurrence. When the unthinkable becomes a feel of ordinary, it is a sign to adapt. It is a call to rise. We therefore call on every Ghanaian, family, educator, church, counselor, community leader, and policymaker to come together and reinforce the moral infrastructure that binds us, our culture of care. This remains just like that. And this means recognizing early signs of risk and acting on them before they escalate. Expanding access to counseling and healing, especially for our youth. Investing and mentoring so that no child grows up without guidance or purpose. Rebuilding the strength of families, our first and most enduring source of love and protection. Making rehabilitation real. Ensuring that even those who have strayed can return to the circle of care and accountability. Strengthens our relationship with law enforcers and demand more effective, proactive, and meaningful engagement with the public. This is how we prevent violence, not only by determining harm, but by cultivating the deeper condition of safety, presence, connection, dignity, and hope. To every citizen, you matter, you're seen, and you're needed. Let us remember, we all have a responsibility to shaping this nation. Let us be the turning point. Let us be remembered as the moment where we reaffirm who we are. A people built on love, dignity, and shared responsibility. We grieve, but we also lead. We hurt, but we also heal. And together we act because we are Grenadians and we protect what matters. Ladies and gentlemen, I always start my program by saying we speak on political and social issues. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been making a post, or I've made a post, where I think persons did not understand what I say through writing. Yes? And it is emphasized here again. We are adapting as a society those violent practices unless it involves some public figure, we don't demand justice. So we have been acting in the capacity whereby when it is happening like that, individuals reach among their peers or whomever and they kill each other or they chop each other, stab each other, it has become normal. It's like, all right, no problem. Let's turn another page. And then if it happens with somebody in a public space or public figure, we immediately demand justice. And we run out and we chant and we do everything. My clarion call is that every single one be dealt with in the same manner. And that is my clarion call. Let's not measure in it, or let's stop measuring it to believe, okay, well, they are gangster members. Yes, they are gangster members. So they could kill each other or they could kill off each other. But when or if it involves somebody of a public figure, we jump out and we ask or we demand. A few months ago, we had what we call an unintentional circumstance that involves a police officer. And the chanting and the rage and everything was seen on social media platforms. Unintentional. And to this stage, that's the allegation. But we have where persons intentionally walk among an audience of persons in a recreational setting and open fire. And ladies and gentlemen, you can hear the pin drop. You can hear the pin drop. I am saying, let us deal with those circumstances in the same voice. Because the criminals are out there. And guess what they're doing? They are realizing that we're adapting to it. They are realizing that we are allowing it. We have to lift our voices for every time it happens. We have to, as a society, come together and make or bring suggestions and make solutions. Not when it happens or who it happens to. That is when you hear the voices. They all are the similar circumstances. Intentionally. 5 persons could have lost their lives. 5. Ladies and gentlemen, when a wrong leaves its chamber, there is no GPS as to the direction of its travels. Believe you me when I tell you this. There is no direction. You can't control it again. To anybody, bystander, anybody, on Sunday morning, you could have maybe passing in the area and maybe say, let me go and take out some money in the teller. And you become a victim. There was a nice little groovy event in which I attended that was happening right there too. There was, a kind of average upper class set of people at the event. Ladies and gentlemen, every Grenadian, we have a concern among us. And at the end of the day, as I said to people, it's not about the crime, It's the evolution of it. We have heard about little fighting incidents. Man pull a cutlass day, man pull a thing day, and they might be having their personal, I'm not saying it's accepted, but they might be having their personal grievances. And they go at each other. But when we have persons walking in open spaces and ringing off shots, not business as to who get it, when they get it, if they get it, and then flees the scene, it's dangerous. What persons rating the solve rate? We don't want solve, we want curb. We don't want to compare that in 20 how much it was that and now it is. No. Let us be proactive. Let us ensure that it does not happen. Let us ensure that it does not happen. That is what we want to ensure. We want to ensure that when the persons are out there enjoying themselves, they need not to look over their shoulders and be scared. It is a growing issue. And the authorities of this country need to. Gun amnesty did not work. Or should I say, gun amnesty did not effectively work. That was a soft approach. Persons are actually telling you no. Or the quarrels are actually that no. I'm going to shoot you. They're telling them. Ladies and gentlemen, that message echoed by the New National Party is a serious one. And it's a sentiment that we all share. That we all share. And I hope that it falls in the correct places or place. Ladies and gentlemen, I have seen a growing trend on Facebook, especially with our sitting ministers of government and MPs in some areas, the National Democratic Congress, that are finding themselves in conversations on Facebook, whether it be bantering, whether it be agreement of a statement. But one grabbed my attention, and I'm happy that our dear brother, Giovanni Campbell, highlighted it even more, because I saw it and I was going to make a status on it. And I never got a chance to come around to do it. And then a few days after, I noticed that the dear brother would have posted it. Now, somebody would have posted on this or in a comment section saying, freedom of expression comes with responsibility. Facebook bullying is on the rise. People are disrespecting and bullying others. It has to stop. Even if you don't like a person or what they say, be respectful. I guess plenty more are there to come, especially them talk show hosts on both sides of the spectrum. The Honorable Brother Philip Tellisford supported the statement. We cannot build a country by one side bullying, another into submission. There is room for respect, honor, and dignity. We aspire, build, and advance as one people. Sounds good, right? But ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman sits among an audience. And today, a heavy weight of this present administration being where they are is due to the fact that they sat aside as a government in waiting while many others on the same talk show host on the other side of the fence was so disrespectful. And I'm going to read what our dear brother Giovanni would have posted. And it speaks to silence, hypocrisy, and the politics of convenience. That's the part I like. I am not sure if the growing trend, I'm not sure if it's a growing trend, but lately, some politicians seem to have much idle time. Time that could be better spent serving the nation. Instead, they engage in social media bantering, exchange words that do little to uplift our country or its people. Today I have a direct question for Philip Tellisford. Were you not disappointed when podcasters Kem Jones spent years on his programs disrespecting Dr. Keith Mitchell and the New National Party? I challenge you. Tell the people honestly. Do you not realize that we cannot build a nation by one-sided bullying, another in submission, and that there is no room for respect, honor, and dignity, as you recently claimed in your social media response to Dulles Williams regarding a breaking news bulletin on the Ride Along Facebook page? If you're sincere, then I urge you to reflect on your words as your administration struggles to lead and unite this nation. Unlike the behavior seen from some political activists, podcaster Jenny Simon has never stopped to disrespect. Her program, Simon says, has been about facts, truth, and accountability. Things that are evidentially making your administration uncomfortable. Now that the criticism is aimed at you, suddenly your government and supporters have a problem with people speaking out. When the NDC is in office, yes, our citizens expect to remain silent about corruption and bribery? Must everyone swallow the voice to appetize your administration? Let me remind you, God is watching and karma is real. No amount of political spin will shield anyone from the consequences of their actions. I remember clearly when Kem Jones and Nivea Newman, also known as Ashida, mocked and insulted Dr. Mitchell in the streets, referring to him in the degrading names and accusation. Those videos are still circulating on social media as proof. Back then, it was all laughs and applauses from every people, no crying foul over criticism of your current administration. Did you suffer from selective blindness, Mr. Philip? Did moral decency not matter then? I recall only one person, Randall Robinson, who had the courage to condemn those disrespectful acts. And what happened? He too was ridiculed by NDC executive and supporters. Today, like the rest of you, Randall has gone silent. The hypocrisy within the NDC leadership and support is a pain for all to see. NDC supporters are known for mobilizing quick to attack anyone who dares to speak the truth. Worse, those on top, the party executives, no better stand by silent, allowing this culture of bullying to continue unchecked. Not even the Prime Minister has shown the leadership to publicly condemn this behavior. His silence is telling. What kind of leader remains quiet when his party members and supporters engage in public misconduct? Silence is compliance. Before you, Philip, make another comment on social media. I suggest that you take the moment for introspection. Listen to Kem Jones' old podcasts. Reflect deeply. Then come back and explain how your recent comment makes sense in light of our party's history of disrespect and division. I leave you with Matthew chapter 7 and verse 5, and I smile because I never knew that verse was so powerful. You hypocrite, first take the dim out your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from another brother's eye. Respect is on, Philip, not demanded. And he says, to be continued. I tried my best to read it to ensure to bring the point across. Because we are living, ladies and gentlemen, in an era where even if the NDC dismisses someone, there is jubilation. There is jubilation, ladies and gentlemen. If the NDC fires an NNP or so-called NNP or somebody who is believed to be an NNP. There is rejoicing in the camp. There is rejoicing in the camp. It is okay to dim another person's light to ensure that yours shine. Ladies and gentlemen, the dear brother, Andre Donald, recently spoke on his program and he shed light on what he believes is threat of victimization, where persons are from the government is stating clearly, hey, no ad, nothing goes to him. And the transformational government are one of the radio goons made comparison to when NNP was in office and to him when he believed he was victimized. I want to play the clip for you first.
Former administration, this station couldn't even get as much as 1 penny in advertising. Not only from the government, from the party too. In other words, and they were campaigning with the supporters too as well, not to support. So beside the government and the party and the campaigning with the supporters, I went through all in every aspect of my business with corruption under the NNP. You know what I did? In the ministry, my name, the name of my establishment was on a wall with a red X against it. Don't shop, don't buy nothing. The LPOs, they usually have what they call local purchase order. Don't go back in. When they're talking corruption, I'm living proof.
Is Andre Donald.
And that is the justification. I didn't get, so I ain't feeling no way if he don't get. I ain't do, they do me, so if they're doing him, it is okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the harsh reality within our society. It is sad, but it is true. The only way these persons feel satisfied is when their government pressures what they would consider an NNP supporter. And you hear set of them saying, I'm glad, I real happy. So, an eye for an eye. They do business. They talk about victimization and they talking about corruption. I was victimized and I was, they corrupted me. So whoever getting it now, it's okay. Thought transformation was a change in behavior, structure. I thought that is what I grasped from what transformation is. But under these lovely guys and them, transformation has nothing to do with that. Victimization is real. Victimization here is careless. I know business about you, you're an NNP. A lady was called, cell phone call was made to her, asking her about her and involving the seed program. During that same call in the background, somebody was trying to verify, is this Joan? Is that she you talking to? Yeah, she's on the phone. Cut off the phone. She's an NNP. The phone was disconnected. Attempted many times to call back. They were calling because the conversation already started to verify her name and location to be part of the seed program. Somebody in the back said, cut off the phone. She's an NNP. I say again, I warned NNP supporters. I warned persons working in NNP office. There's a difference between campaign and governance. When a campaign is going on, we may separate who persons' opinions are. You're green, you're yellow, you're black, you're white. That is for a campaign period. Because you're trying to attain votes to govern. But ladies and gentlemen, when a party forms a government, it is time to govern every individual within the state. There's no more campaigning. The color need to be put aside. The foolish Caribbean politics of believing when you're in office, the other side shouldn't get. It is redundant. Because let me say to you, when you don't perform and the other side gets the opportunity to govern again, the cycle of victimization, corruption, and party politics will not stop. And I'm imploring to the new National Party, when the opportunity is given that we return in office, break that cycle. Break that cycle. Your governance is to ensure that every Grenadian, Kayak and Pitimatnikian gets what is rightfully theirs within the state as a member of state. Remove this color within your eyes when you govern. Leave that for campaigning. Wear your jersey, make your noise. That is campaign. But whenever a government is formed, govern for the people of this country. I would echo this sentiment to every politician, every political organization within the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique. This level of victimizing, and because my party in power, I can lift my hands, and I don't care if he or she don't eat, the family don't eat. And you see, Grenada is such a small, knitted place. There's a family of 7, 3 adults in it can vote. 1 could be supporting the government. The other 2 is on the other side. And you may presume, well, let's say 1 is an NP and the other 2 is NDC. And you may presume that his political affiliation is going to do something to your governance. So you take him out of a walk, not realizing that that is the same man that had to feed the same 2 NDC and at least 4 or 3 other little children. Or the same NNP that you lose, that you make loss. Listen to me, let me tell you something. Recently I had a conversation with an individual who was disgruntled about the manner in which an individual was treated. They support NDC. As they mentioned to me, them and the family vote NDC. They treated an individual within that same family. Within that same family, and that person is presumed to be an NPA. They treated that individual in a particular way. And through a phone conversation, this person disclosed to me, you know what? Because of how they treat my cousin, I ain't voting NDC. As God is my witness, I had this conversation with an individual. And it was not because how they treated her, or her family. It's just because how they treat a family member. And they support the National Democratic Congress. Again, the political leader did share the sentiment on Brother Pierre's program. So I'll just give you a little clip in it as to what she said.
You already declare war when you talk about us and them. And let me just make this point about victimization. I think this is at its worst in our modern history. And I'll give 2 examples quickly. One police officer, and I said this publicly, some persons heard it. Dr. Mitchell and myself went into a shop that I don't even know up till now if he's the owner of the shop. I assume he is. We walked into that shop, and because that was not our assignment, that's not where we were going, all we did was to shake hands with people in the shop, the men who were standing there drinking and socializing. We shook their hand and went outside to the activity that we came to. The next day, the police officer who apparently owns the shop was called in by a supervisor and asked why he had Emmeline Pierre and Kit Mitchell in his shop yesterday. Now, immediately, he was transferred. But let me show you the level of fear that exists in our society that we ought not to take for granted. A couple days ago, I passed on a particular block. There was a cooler of drinks and people seemed to be in a celebratory mood. And I inquired what was happening. And I was told it was a birthday party. And one of the guys immediately said, "Look, the birthday boy there. Come and take a picture with the birthday." No, I don't know the birthday boy. I don't know where he works. I don't know anything about him. But of course, a birthday is a special thing. So I immediately acceded to the request to take a picture with the birthday boy. The birthday boy was called. He didn't volunteer to take a picture with me. He was called. And we took a picture. Now, of course, I posted all the wonderful people that I met for the day. And it so happened that the birthday boy was one of those wonderful persons that I met for the day. And my phone was ringing down. That calls from certain quarters to highlight the fact that this individual was in a picture with me on Facebook. I wasn't even sure who was the individual they were talking about. And Miss Pierre, please, take it on quick. When did we get to that level? When did we get to that level where a person who takes a picture with you would be so afraid for his job? When did we get to that stage where you're walking in a community and somebody says to me, "Let's talk by the side. Don't take a picture. I don't want them to see me. You know they're going to take my job from me."
And ladies and gentlemen, that is a reality. That is a reality. Many persons, if I open my messenger, sometimes my WhatsApp messenger, my Facebook messenger, persons are messaging me. Persons would meet me in places and secretly say, "As an avid listener, but I'm in the back of the class. I don't want to comment. I don't want to say nothing because you know how they getting on already." Miss Pierre, and that is the sentiment being shared with the leader. And I'm telling you, I'm just a podcaster. And persons meet me and they're like, "Yeah, good program, Sometimes they don't even look in my direction. Good program. Continue going, but I walk in there and I don't want persons to know. A few years ago, one podcaster spurred disrespect, malandering, defamated, vulgarity. Just name it. He growed his business, his podcast, through that, being financed by person or persons supporting the National Democratic Congress. Not one day, ladies and gentlemen, the NNP government made him an issue. Things said, names called. Yeah? And it was okay. From since Jenny Simon being an NDC, I remember the Heartbeat program coming on every 1 o'clock on a Sunday. I remember it clearly on WFM. So I remember in the morning time, my mom used to enjoy her gospel on WFM, and then the Heartbeat program would come on and she would immediately change it. And I'm like, sometimes, Mommy, I'm listening. And if you want to listen to NDC, go somewhere else. And at no time I could recall where anybody, any minister of government, jump out at Jenny Simon back then. And the fact is, even back then, Jenny Simon was a truth teller. She kept the government at bay. I played a clip for you recently. That this is not a new thing that Jenny Simon is doing. Sheldon Scott, this is not a new thing. Andre Donald, I am the youngest and most inexperienced person when it comes to political podcasting. And even within my scope, even when I'm speaking, I attempt to always be respectful to the office of individuals. And that is just me as a person, because I could be real vile. According to them, I could be let go. I could be that. But I always say to myself, it is better you respect an individual. As I always tell my friends, oh, and they always say, when you put a pig in a wedding dress, it is not a bride. No, but if that pig get married, it is Mrs. Pig or Mr. Pig. Because if we're going to look at the creature in itself, we may not want to respect it. But respect the fact that the honor that has been granted unto every creature, when married, he has to get it. And I'm saying this to say, there are times you may not like an individual. Never so often, even if you hear me mention Deacon Mitchell, I would most of the time say Prime Minister Mitchell. Even if you hear me say Andy Williams, you may hear me say the Minister of Mobilization, Information and Transformation. In simply understanding that this person's hold public office and the respect must be given to them, even if you don't support them. Even if you don't support them, you ought to respect them. And as I tell people, I MC, I host events. And once I'm there, senator, minister, whoever steps in on either side, I pay respect to them. A PS, whoever, as long as it's there, I acknowledge it. The level of disrespect that we have seen before in this country to the members or members that sits now on the opposite side. Even one that joined them, what she was called, Delma Damas. We don't forget those things. And persons allow these persons to express themselves and doing the state's business. I'm saying, maybe, just maybe, if from since 2004 to now, if NNP was as photogenic, as this National Democratic Congress, man, we would have spent our time in office. Man, we would have spent our time in office. That I could say. Them guys photographing anything. They're posting. We having the evidence. We are not out here telling Grenadians, oh, we hear that person getting F in SGO. No, we're showing you. We're not saying, oh, we hear you get a loan in GDP. We're showing you. And that is what is hurting them. We are not malingering their names. without evidence and proof. We're showing you. So even when Sister Jenny spoke about corruption and she brought it to the Integrity Commission, it wasn't a bluff. She had information. Maybe circumstances arise whether or not they don't have enough as they claim. But she had it. And that is the difference. Polish man, cabinet conclusion, where is it? Faith investigation. What has happened? Huh? What has happened? Briefcase. Huh? What has happened? Oh, we're selling passport. How much persons have they found with passport that they didn't go through the legal procedure? Huh? Come on. But when we speak now, we have the evidence to show you. When they say, oh, Kid Mitchell did say that, but they can't tell you when Kid Mitchell said it. But no, we could tell you they say it, and they coming back and say they never say it. But we play in the clip where they say it. So it's not that just say, we're showing you. And that is the difference with them and us. When they were malingering our names, they only say, no, that happened. No, we're showing you. We're playing the clips. I remember when, I think it's our Sister Modest made the mistake. And then I think Sister Pamela would have made the mistake. All kind of thing they run with. Now you have a minister saying, disaster. After a disaster. And all kind of corruption taking place from the finance minister being said. And then you have a person saying, oh, you're not taking it in the context. What context? They say what they say. And what they say, they say. But this is what we live in. Set of hypocrisy. Yeah? A set of hypocrisy. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, and if you find me sweating up or perspiring a little bit, my AC is giving me some stress today. Yeah? The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to make that public. Let me make it public for everyone to hear me say this. NDC does not scare any one of us. NDC, let me start with me. They ain't scare me. Because I guess they measure me already and they realize, nah, there's a little boy that even if you find he look young, he know what he know. So they ain't coming at me. They ain't coming at me. One met me in tongue in a conversation and she say, why you don't go and get some scholarship? You know what I mean? She sees something in me. Why you don't go and get a scholarship? Your scholarship giving away. Government giving scholarship. Why you don't go and get a scholarship? What I want scholarship for? This NDC can't buy me out. I don't care what nobody say. I'm a citizen of the state, and if they're giving me something, or I'm qualified to get something, I'll take it. But you ain't buying me out. NDC can't buy me out. I'm in a setting and I see them and they want to say hi, I'm saying hi to them. They can't buy me out. If I'm in a situation and I need to go to government for assistance, I go in. They ain't buying me out. And I keep telling all you that about, oh, NDC thing, go and give your name so you have a story to tell. When they don't give you, no, you could say, I go and I ask and I didn't get. Don't sit down there and about, oh, I got an NP, they don't give it me. I go in. They say bud paper, ID card, aside the right shoes, and you told her to paint, I'm doing it. And if I meet the qualifications and I don't get it, then I could cry victimization. But don't sit down home and don't go for it. When they give in work and they're asking for people to work and they're saying, oh, it's only NDC they want to give work, let us say that. But prove them. Prove it to them. Prove it to people. Be a living example. Some people don't like humiliation. But let something happen. And I have to go and give me name, government thing. I go in and put it. I go in and put my name. When all you see it, scratch it out. I'm a member of state. and I'm expecting what government is offering, I am a citizen of Grenada Carriacou Petit Madrid. When I don't get it, I could cry victimization. But I don't sit down there and say, oh, I ain't this thing. I feel if I go and give me anything in government, they will give me. Because if I don't get it, I blow in shell. I ain't afraid them. And they know I don't afraid them. They see me, I don't afraid them. They know I is a man, me leaning dirty. And I don't afraid to say me leaning dirty. They know me closet have skeleton, and I leaving it open. He has skeleton inside there right now, he making ashes. Drum and roach in me closet. And I opening it because all you know what they inside it. All you hiding all you own, and all you want to play, always this and that. I'm telling all you about it anytime I day anyway. And they tell me anything, I don't tell them that straight out. If you want to talk politics, fine. But the minute time you start to go into my personal life, I'm cursing you. One try the other night and I tried to remind her, say, hey, I know you, you know. I know you. The last comment I make, I say, hey, I know you. He never replied. Because I realized they have a way of not being able to discuss constructively. They don't have that. Malingering, character assassination is what they like. It doesn't matter I don't like it, you know. I could do it and I'm real good at it. Ask Kem Jones. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. There is an open letter that was posted, again, the Ministry of Health. We are hearing a lot when it comes to the Ministry of Health. Again, as I said to you, persons normally call me and say, listen to me, there is the changes, that's what's happening. Now, there are some people or persons, especially the General Hospital, are dissatisfied with some decisions at the General Hospital. But health in itself is bad. I didn't say. Again, I didn't say. For the past 2.5 years, the needle of Shifatal, I didn't say. The minister responsible throughout the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Madrid, he said so. An open letter to the Minister of Health, Brother Philip Telesford, addressed the urgent need of our health system. Dear Minister of Health, I'm writing with a heavy heart and a sense of urgency on behalf of the citizens of Grenada who are deeply concerned about the state of the healthcare system. Information has reached me about the patient whom I know personally, who was transferred from the Princess Alice Hospital to the Central Hospital in St. George's on Wednesday. The medical recommendation was for him to be admitted to intensive care. For specialized care, however, as of now, no such action has been taken and he has been placed in a private room instead. The situation is not just a minor oversight. It is a glaring example of the systematic issues that plagues our healthcare system. The family members of the patient, along with many others, are left feeling helpless and frustrated. They are faced to watch their loved ones suffer due to the lack of proper care and resources. Key concern: delayed ICU admission. The failure to admit a patient to ICU when it is clearly recommended raises serious questions about the availability and location of the critical care resource. This is not just a matter of logistics, it is a matter of life and death. Inadequate facilities. The current state of the healthcare facilities includes the lack of inadequate beds is a pressing issue that needs immediate attention. A hospital must be equipped to handle critical cases without delay. Communication breakdown. The lack of clear communication with patients' family about the reasons for the delay in the ICU admission is unacceptable. Families deserve transparency and timely updates about their loved ones and care. Systematic failure. This case is decisive of bordering issues within the healthcare system, including understaffing, inadequate funding, and poor management. Those are not new problems, but they require urgent and decisive decision. So, ladies and gentlemen, you hear the end of the statement? Let me read it again. These are not new problems, but they require urgent and decisive decision or action. This is what you call critical thinking and suggestive logics. I criticize, I give a suggestion, I acknowledge that it is not and wasn't the best, but it is one that needs to be fixed. Understand that? Not telling persons, oh, when an NP was in office, he didn't have that too. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, let me say this. If we go back to the past administration, and when those critical thinking and suggestions came in, ever so often, when the problem is arised, we fix it, or we attempt to fix it. We are living in a time when we don't even know if to talk about the problem. And when we don't talk about the problem, there is no solution. And it is affecting maybe not me directly, but many others. I have not had any issues within the health system for the past 3 years. My daughter did operations there, and to me, I had little or no issue. And I cannot bear the concerns or share any concerns from there. But there are others. I had a very nice experience. The doctors and the persons there, we had a good rapport. We communicated and everything went normal and well. Even to the point where when my daughter was leaving the hospital, they sent her down with the ambulance. Again, maybe they know who am I. But that being said, I appreciated my experience there. I can't give a bad review there. But let me say, there are others. And I am one person commending when there are 10 others that they are complaining. How can an individual be recommended to go to ICU and be placed in a private room? Intensive care. The INDC alone, intensive care. An immediate, and again I say this, see communication. I've always had an issue again, and I say them, I'm not afraid to say them, with the way persons acted within the botanical gardens and in other entities. Like I recently, somebody gave me an experience the other day when they went to collect books. And it's like they say they're there, but it's like the teachers don't want to be there. It's like somebody call them and tell them, but make sure you go and share the books. They come there, lackadaisical, they open their laptop slow, they clean the table, and the person was displeased because they stated, it's like they're moving like, oh gosh, move with a sense of urgency, like they don't care. It's like all you have to wait on us. They asked the person to be there for 9, the individual was there. She had to get to work for 10, and she said she got there for 9, so she had, I think, number 2 or 3 or thereabout. She said what hurt her most is after getting there, yeah, and having number 2, she realized the teachers just come in with the books and laying it out on the table, just get it ready to put names and everything together. So she had to stand up and speak on that because she said, that's stupid. A message came, I think the Monday or so, or the week before, we're distributing book on Wednesdays, and you just putting books together. Persons will be displeased about that. I'm saying that to say, sometimes communication, behavioral pattern, professionalism, customer service communication are things that are going to improve an experience. You feel sometimes that family had a problem, even if you can go into the ICU, that you communicate with them and say, listen to me, based on what is happening here, this is blah, 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 da, 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 blah, blah. But all you put him somewhere else, and it's like the family have to accept it. Ladies and gentlemen, let us continue to pray for our lovely little island, please. Yes? Let us continue to pray for our lovely little island. Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I want to say thank you so very much for joining me during the week. And I'm saying the week because tomorrow, God's willing, I would be at Victoria. I would be the person hosting the handing over to the Steel Pan Orchestra. So it will be brought live. So you all could jump into that if you guys really want to see me tomorrow. Yeah? And I want to remind you guys, yes, your voters list. Many persons are starting to inquire about their voters list. Check your voters list. Check your voters list. Make sure where you were voting the last election, that is where you're voting again. Yeah? Make sure and tell the people that that is your name, that is the last place you vote. Check your voters list. Your kids, the persons that are new voters and you know them. Yes? Please. Please. Let's get that up to par and ensure that we get it right. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I want you guys to protect yourself over the weekend. It's a long weekend. There's a few activities. I know the semi-final weekend. I know about traditional mass in St. Mark's. On Sunday, there are multiple events again. So starting from Thursday, I know there's a lot that will be happening. Victoria, I think, also have a street jam tomorrow. Yes, Shai will be having a street jam in Victoria tomorrow. So we're asking everybody, please let the conversation be with you and not about you. I too, I pray God protect me and my entire family also. Yes? With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a wonderful evening. God's blessing to each and every one of you guys. Catch you back here again tomorrow. Sorry, next Monday. Yes, same time, same place.
To the man with no voice. Well, look at driving down on the highway, singing a nice old kitchen song. Just so I turn around, a police with a motorbike flag me down. Since the election and the padding are really easy to get vexed. The man say how he is Constable Rex and how I doing 12 miles in excess. As a law-abiding citizen, I take my ticket and went and paid. Same day, the very same day. The reason why I'm telling you my business is that I want you to see clearly that they have a love for me and another one for Chiton and Gypsy. But the law should be for everybody. It is plain to see UNC hijacked the democracy. And I'm blaming Isaac Hayatali, cause at 83, as a he who harbored padding at the EBC. Still, Gypsy wrong. Why is you sign the form for the PNM or UNC? You have to respect the democracy. Hey, Gypsy wrong. You sign a false declaration. Them kind of illegal thing you do. You're stealing the soul of the nation too. So don't treat black people as a toy. You Vincent Griffith, Jack Warner and Roy. This carnival ain't gonna be much joy. You disappoint the little black boy. If black people should get together, for carnival blood might flow like water. You're antagonizing the black man, but we never lost our revolution.